Talk about your colors and their references. In one comment you made, you talked about the effect of travel on the palette that you use.
Travel is like going to see a new palette. Color is concrete. It is a, it's not an ephemeral thing. I think about it probably the way a composer can be in their mind and be creating compositions with no pencil and no instrument. And for me, color is like that. It's a conversation.
Who were the artists you admired?
You know, I have always had a thing for Rothko. I mean, in the sense of having palpable color and having color be the subject of your painting in a very emotional way was something that I could really resonate. It resonated with me. It was very powerful.
At the same time, though, were you interested in the minimalists because of their use of the grid? So you had a duality there because they didn't much see one another.
No, exactly. And Sala Witt and Agnes Martin were, you know, heroes of mine, which it was like it sort of rubbed the wrong way because how, in terms of the expressiveness of my work, and yet that ability to be able to say a lot with very little has sort of always been what I've strived for.
The other central form in your work is the stripe. So you play off, in a sense, the round form, the donut form, against the stripe. What does that contrast suggest to you?
Well, the stripe is a line. The stripe is a line. And in my work, going way, way back when I was doing constructions and creating things out of these little tiny pieces that almost look like spaghetti but much more fragile, it was a line. And so it's a line that's drawn, or it's a line that has bulk and mass and weight in space and time. So for me, it's a stripe, but for me, I think of it as it's the line. It's the line that I draw with.
John Farren was a close friend of mine. He ran the legendary Artists Club. So he decided once to bring in philosophy professors into the club, and he brought in Arthur Danto. And what Danto did was put a piece of paper on the wall, put a line across it, and discuss the various ways that that particular image could be interpreted philosophically. That wasn't the kind of talk that you had at the Artists Club, and the place just blew up. And John, Papa John, sitting there with his pipe, just grooving it all. Talk a little bit, though, about your work in ceramics, and you've done work in other media as well.
The writer, as I was saying, Ted Castle, who wrote this article about me, which was entitled, "Why Does a Painter Turn to Clay?" Which was a really good, you know, it was a good question. And I had never studied ceramics. I had studied painting in college. It's about the physicality of it. It's about you could get into it. You could squeeze it. You could mush it. You could, you know, it had depth, it had color, you could make it shiny, it was the kind of getting into it. And the work that I did in ceramics, again, it was flat, it was rolling out these beautiful slabs of dry but sexy clay, white clay, and then inserting colors and shapes and all of that. And I think, you know, if I look back now from where I am, all of these things that I did was a way to, you know, get into it. If I could kind of squeeze myself into the paint tube, I would do that too.
There's another dimension. I don't know exactly how to phrase it. Perhaps you'll be able to help me. It's sort of existential. It has to do with a biography, perhaps, and even has to do with something that runs counter to the whole idea of candy, namely a kind of melancholia, that sadness even in some of your works. And I was struck by that. And I just wondered what this other dimension is aside from the physicality of candy.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you being sensitive to that, because I think that that's absolutely true. And I think a lot of times the response I get is, oh, this work is so happy and it's so gay, which is one reason why I kind of wrote this statement about this idea of the duality. And that is absolutely what it is that I'm working with. It's the duality of existence. Things are not what they seem. And that is a huge theme for me in my life through experiences that I've been through, health experiences, family experiences. What you see is not what you get. And that is absolutely a very strong part of the work. Three of my own and several of other but,
Give me back my broken night, my mirrored room, my secret life.